Ahoy there, mateys. My name's Joseph Nicholas. Today I'll be going over Skull King by Grandpa Beck's games, and it looks a little something like this. This is a fantastic trick-taking game that will have you plundering at sea. Get ready to wager winnings and trick your opponents in this 30 minutes or less for 2 to 6 player card game. The game is very simple to learn, but takes a bit of time to develop an eye for knowing how many wins you may get and how many losses you may get to make sure that you're still getting points and not losing points. So yes, the curve is slightly steeper than other games, but don't let that sink your ship, because it is definitely great for families and friends who are looking for some strategic gameplay. To play the game, simply go through each turn correctly guessing how many tricks you'll win. Every loss is negative points towards you, and you do this for about 10 turns, increasing the amount of cards that you have in your hand by 1 for every round that you're in. So yes, you will start with 1 card in your first round and 10 by the last round, because there's 10 rounds in the game. After all rounds are played, tally up your score and claim victory. Looks like you're the captain now.
Today I'll be going over Skull King, which is a really awesome trick-taking game by Grandpa Beck's. And here are all the cards you'll find in the deck, as well as the order at which they can take over cards, starting with the lowest card being the flag. So playing the flag, you'd automatically lose, and following by the 3 suits available in the game, the 4, 7, and 14. The 3 suits that are available in the game, the purple, yellow, and green, also ranging from like the low 2s up to the high 14s, which get bonus points. I'll explain that later. The level above that is going to be the level above that is the Jolly Roger suit, also ranging in the different numbers, but we'll always be able to take over these cards. Above that is going to be the pirate cards, which are going to take over everything below that and can be played at any time. And the highest card is going to be the Skull King, who can take any of these cards. And then you have the Tigress, who can play as the lowest or one of the highest cards. So what does that all mean? Well, if you're not familiar with trick-taking, the idea of trick-taking is if somebody plays a card, you have to match that suit. You can match it by getting a higher number or a lower number. The higher numbers always take the lower number, right? So in this situation, I would want to play a purple card. Now let's say I didn't have a purple card. That's where all these other cards come into play. Do I want to automatically lose my turn? Well, I could play the flag. Maybe I don't have a flag. I could play one of these random suits out. If I don't have the purple suit and I want to win, I could play the Jolly Roger, or I could play the Pirate, or I could play the Skull King, right? And why would you want to win or lose? You're pretty much wagering on how many tricks you're going to win every turn. Now, every single round or turn is going to add an additional card to the match. So the first round, each player will have 2 cards. So you'll look at your card, right? I have a 12 here, and they have a 2 here. And then we'll go yo-ho-ho, like this. And this is specifically for this trick-taking game. You're going to reveal how many tricks you're going to win that turn. So this player looks at their card, they're like, green 12, I'm not the dealer, so I'm probably going to go first in this 2-player game. I have high hopes that I'm winning because, the chances of them having one of the other special cards or maybe having the Jolly Rancher aren't as high as they would have one of the 3 suits. So I'm going to guess I'm going to win 1. So I'd write 1 in here. And this player looks at his card and he's like, yeah, the chances of them having a flag to automatically lose are extremely low, right? I'm not going to win. So, he bets 0. So it'd be a 1 and a 0 here. When they reveal, so he'd reveal a 12, and, luckily he has the same suit, so he'd reveal. This card trumps this card, so he wins that suit. So you'd gather points for being correct about the amount of tricks that you're willing to take. What's great about these cards is they kind of help you keep track of that. So they both assumed they were going to win 1 trick. So because of that, he did win 1 trick. He'd get 20 points, and you're at 20 points in here. And he guessed 0. But because he was correct, he would get 10 points for every trick available in the round. for having zero, for betting zero. So since he bet zero in the first round, he gets plus 10 points. Now, if he would have done that, you know, a 0 and 4 or a 0 and 5, he'd get 40 or 50 if he was correct, right? So let's see what happens if you're not correct. So that was an example of being correct about your bet. So here is a round 2. You know, you look at your cards, and all right, so I have a Jolly Roger and a yellow. That's pretty good. And this guy looks at his. He's like, well, a pirate and a purple. Perfect. He also is leading this round. So they're both pretty confident here. So this player is like, okay, 2. I think I'm going to win 2 of these. Both of them. And this player 2 is like, all right, well, I think I'm going to win 2 as well. So they're both betting 2 this round. Since he won the so since he is the dealer this time around, since the dealer goes left and this is a 2-player game, this player goes first, and he's like, all right, easy, I'm gonna go ahead and play my purple 9. And this player is like, well, I could lose this, but I don't want to, because I obviously want to win 2 cards this round, so I'm gonna go ahead and just play my Jolly Rancher, because I don't have a purple card, so I can change the suit if I want. I could literally play any card now because I do not have the purple suit. If I had a purple suit in this hand, I'd have to play the purple. But since I don't, I can play anything. So I'm playing the Jolly Roger. And I win this trick. Okay, now this dude's getting a little scared. He's like, all right, well, you know, I do have a fantastic pirate card here. This trumps everything but the Skull King. So he's like, okay, I got you. 6 yellow. You don't have a yellow in there. I know it. And he's like, absolutely not. I have a pirate. So he wins this. So they both won 1, but they assumed they were winning 2. So because of that, you actually lose 10 points for every trick you do not get that round. So they'd both be losing 10 points. Is this starting to make a little more sense? So let's do one more round. 3 cards. Look at your cards. Not too good of a hand, but we don't know. Obviously, this hand is a lot better. You got an automatic loss there. So they bet, right? This player and this player, he's going to look at his hand. He's like, well, I know for sure I could probably get 1 here. So I'm going to assume just 2 on this bad boy. I'm going to get 2 wins in this 3-trick round. And this player is like, yeah, I'm just going to go for 1. All right. Now, since he was the dealer this time around, because it goes left, he goes first. And he's like, okay, let's start slow and steady, because you don't want to win all of them. And this guy goes, all right, well, I don't have a yellow, so I could play anything now, and I only want to win once, so I'm just going to throw that flag in there. Actually, so he played the yellow, and we don't have a yellow in this hand, so he could play anything. And he wants to only win 1. So automatically, you know, let's go ahead and play this purple card, because he's going to lose against the leading card. Numbers don't matter when you don't match the leading card. And he knows he could at least win once with this and lose with this. So he takes the trick, and he's like, okay, cool, I only need 1 more. So he, you know, now he looks at his cards and he's like, well, I'm going to automatically lose this round. Why not? That's what I want. I only want to win once, and I have a pirate, so hopefully he doesn't have the Skull King in here. So he looks and he's like, okay, I won't play my best card. Easy. He wins this. Then his last turn, he plays the Jolly Roger, knowing he's going to win this. Which is awful, because he only has 2 tricks. He already won 2 tricks. So he reveals, and he's actually the pirate, which trumps the Jolly. And they're both correct about their tricks this round, which is pretty great. So he gets, you know, 20 points, 40 points. So he gets 40 points this round. And then he only gets 20 points for the win, but he's correct. You know, he's not losing points, he's getting points. So, you know, it'd be the 3rd round, so you'd put in, you know, that you'd get 20 points, and then you put your total in right here, and you just start totaling the amount every round, and you get bonus points and all that. And it's really fun. You do this for 10 rounds. It's double-sided. You do this for 10 rounds and see how many points you can consume by the end of the game.
Let's start with what I don't like. Skull King has a small chance of your score falling drastically behind everybody else's if you are incorrectly guessing. Yes, you probably suck, but that doesn't mean you can't get better. And that does not mean that, and while you may find yourself falling terribly behind, the game's going to be over in 10 rounds. Just start up over again and see what you can do. And of course, this is really based off the base game. Once you include the legendary expansion, you might see that changing a little bit, because the expansion does add a lot of extra to the game that I can't play the base game without now. I mean, it adds so much more rich content that it's more than just a trick-taking game at that point. What I do like is how all-around fun this game is. The game shifts from luck of the draw to pure strategy with an increase of cards every round. Each turn, you and your opponents are looking at your hand, assuming multiple tricks ahead. So when you're playing a card down, you have to assume that they might have cards that are still better than you, and if you have to reach a specific number to win, you gotta really calculate, do I want to play this good card now, or do I want to try to lose a couple now, or do I want to win? I mean, we've all played trick-taking games before. We know what we're doing here. The concept behind trick-taking has actually grown on me a lot. I have been playing a lot recently, and some older games I used to play, I didn't realize actually had trick-taking mechanics in it. But what I like about Skull King is I think it really enhances the idea behind trick-taking. It's more than just a strategy play of a strategy play between the lead card and other cards. There's a lot more going on for this game. Now again, this game does come with an expansion that I mentioned earlier that really digs deeper into some of the gameplay components. For example, pirates have special abilities now, so when you play them you can actually also use the ability that each pirate has. Krakens actually destroy the trick, so if you thought you were winning 5, well, you might not win that one. In my opinion, each game really strikes up the conversation.
Dude, are you serious right now? Bro, are you kidding me? For real?
Final thoughts is this game is a really good all-around, perfect, lighthearted strategy game that takes time to master. It's easy to learn when the concept of trick-taking is understood, and the different play styles from early to late game keep the game fresh. So in the first part of the game, where it's more on the luck side, you know, you're playing cards and just hoping you're guessing correctly if you're going to win or not. While you come to the latter half of the game, you're really playing cards that are targeting either the offensive or defensive play to win tricks, which is really awesome because the game doesn't really stale out at all. But honestly, this is really up there on my list. There's enough variety to make this more than a leading card and a trump card game. It's a solid game. I do want to thank everybody for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you could like this and comment, leave a comment talking to me. Let's have a conversation about games. Go ahead and subscribe and hit the little notification button as well so you can be updated for when I do release these very great reviews every few days. And tell me what you think about Skull King and other trick-taking games. Are there any trick-taking games that you suggest I should play?